Why did you choose the VA hospital? Why didn't you choose, any other jobs or any other hospitals?
Okay.
Why the VA?
So I was born and raised in Battle Creek, and
Mm-hmm.
after I met my wife, I was looking for a job in my career field, which was public relations,
Okay.
and a position was open at a hospital in Alpena,
Alpena,
and I didn't
okay.
even know where the heck Alpena was. I had to get out the map.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where Alpena is?
I've heard of it.
So here's Michigan. It's like way up here.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a 5 hour drive from Battle Creek.
Is it really? Wow. Okay.
So we went for the interview, and I liked the hospital there and what the job was going to be, and it was really kind of my first job out of college.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew we weren't going to stay there real long.
Yeah.
So we actually lived there for 2 years, and I started looking for a job closer to Battle Creek. So I interviewed for some jobs in Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Battle Creek, and this was one of them.
Okay.
And I had a great uncle that was a veteran and got his care here years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My coincidentally, my wife's grandfather was treated here years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to high school here in Battle Creek, our JV football team used to play their games out here in the back of
Really?
our campus.
Okay. Really?
There's at that time, a little football field. It's like a softball field now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would come out here to watch my brother play football when he was in high school.
That's our yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. That's really cool.
So I kind of was familiar with this campus, but then I knew the history about my great uncle being a patient here. So I put my name in for the job, and I was hired in 1990.
So you've been here for what?
It'll
32 years?
It'll be 32 years in March.
32 years in March.
Mhm.
Wow. So you said you had what a great uncle.
And then after I met my wife, we
Okay.
started talking, and she said, well, I remember as a kid coming out here. She lived in Detroit area,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
and her grandfather had post-traumatic stress from being in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, this was really the only psychiatric hospital, VA hospital in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
that's why he came here for his care.
Gotcha.
So the first time she came out here, she goes, I remember my parents bringing me here when I was a kid to see Grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Now, when were they admitted into the hospital?
Her grandpa?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And what about if you remember at all? If you
Yeah,
don't, that's completely fine.
Well, my great uncle would have been here like in the early 60s.
Early 60s.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So her grandpa was probably even earlier than that.
50s, 40s. Yeah. I mean, so
Probably in
you
the 50s.
you have a long history
Well,
with the.
no, wait, because my wife and I are the same age. We were born in 63, so she would have come here as a child.
Yeah.
So mid-60s.
Mid-60s. Okay.
To late
Yeah.
60s, maybe.
So, anyways, I mean, your family has a long history with the,
Mhm.
especially the Battle Creek. VA
Right,
hospital.
getting
Okay.
their care. None of my family ever worked here, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would you say this job in particular is like more meaningful to you than the job in Alpena? Just because you had like family members work or come here, so you're kind of like giving back.
Yeah, and I've seen a big difference just from when I first started coming here. Most of the patients were World War II, and then over the years I've seen the different eras.
Yeah,
Now I'm
that's
seeing
cool.
kids like your age that have been, well, you're still young, but I
Yeah.
mean 19, 20, 21-year-olds
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that are coming back. So it's really changed. The population that we serve has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we still see the older veterans, we still
Yeah.
are seeing a lot of the younger
You
veterans
see the new and up and coming veterans.
and women
yeah.
veterans too. A lot more women veterans
Yeah.
now than it
Wow,
was
okay,
when I
yeah.
first came here.
Okay. Gotcha. So what is your job title specifically?
So I was in public relations here for 22 years, and then for about 10 years I've been in this position. I'm the chief of our community and volunteer service.
Okay.
So we're the ones that recruit and screen and place volunteers here throughout the hospital.
Oh, alrighty.
And then
Okay.
we also do some special events throughout the year for our veterans.
So, like, say Joe Norton, did he come to you, and then
Mhm.
that's kind of how he got his
Mhm.
little job? Okay, gotcha.
Some people just, come here and say they'd like to volunteer, or they see our website or anything that we put out in the community for volunteers.
Yeah.
A lot of our volunteers have some kind of a connection with veterans, either their spouse or their grandfather or their brother,
hmm
or they're a veteran themselves.
Speaking of connections, how have you connected with veterans around the hospital, or how have you connected with, others around the hospital?
Okay. So when veterans are here in the hospital, if they need items, they can come to
Mhm.
us because we take all the donations that people from the community give,
Mm-hmm.
clothing items, toiletry items. So when new veterans are admitted, we have a volunteer that comes in every week and puts like a bag together of, items that they need while they're here in the hospital, like deodorant, shampoo,
Yeah, all your basic
all
necessities.
toiletry items.
Yeah.
And then she takes them out and delivers them to them on their unit.
Okay. Gotcha. Now I know every day is different for you, but
That's
what
for
does
sure.
your typical day look like?
A lot of meetings, a lot of Zoom calls. Now that we don't meet in person as much,
Mhm.
some days I may have 2 or 3 meetings.
Okay.
Other days I don't.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So I'm responding to emails or just helping veterans when they come in our office that need items.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
Just kind of supervising the other staff that I have here.
Mm-hmm. How many staff do you supervise?
Here in Battle Creek, there's 3.
3. Okay.
And then we have outpatient clinics also around Southwest Michigan.
Okay.
Our biggest clinic is in Grand Rapids, and I have 1 staff member there that I supervise.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Battle Creek pretty much covers all of Southwest Michigan.
Mhm.
So we have a clinic in Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Benton Harbor.
Okay. Now you mentioned Zoom meetings. Now, who do you usually have Zoom meetings with? Is this?
It's different committees that are here at the hospital that I
Okay.
serve on.
Gotcha. Now, what committees do you serve on?
Oh God, too many.
Too many. That's a good thing. Yeah.
We have a Veterans Experience Committee,
Mm-hmm.
so we're always looking at trying to improve the care that we give to patients.
Mm-hmm.
My boss has a meeting with all of his direct reports once a month, so
Okay.
that's one of the meetings. Our director here at the hospital likes to meet with all the service chiefs, which I am one of those.
Your service chief. Yeah.
So once a month we meet with her. People provide updates and information that we need to be aware of.
For sure.
Trying to think what other committees I'm on. Gosh, I can't even think of them now.
That's all right.
Once a month, our national director for voluntary service has a conference call
Okay.
with all the VA hospital chiefs in voluntary service.
Okay.
So we meet with her once a month.
Okay. And they're downloaded or not downloaded. I'm sorry. Located in
Washington,
downtown.
D.C.
Oh.
Our
okay.
national office is in Washington, D.C.
National offices in Washington
Mhm,
D.C.
right
okay.
behind the White House.
Okay, I always thought
Mhm.
the main center was Columbus because I know they have a really big hospital out there.
So
there.
the VA around the country is broken up into different networks, and
Okay.
we're in network 10. There's like 23 networks. So that encompasses all the VAs in Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. The big 3. Alrighty. So what do veterans? What am I trying to say here? What do they mean? Like and you've been here for almost 32 years. Why stay here? Why not go to other VA hospitals or work somewhere else? Why here?
So what's good about the VA is there's like 150 hospitals around the United States
Mhm.
and a lot of outpatient clinics.
Mm-hmm.
So one good thing working and we are federally funded, so we're a federal government agency.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go to Dayton, Ohio VA, if there was a position open, I could apply for it. So
Mhm.
that's really good if you want to move around the country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
My
Gotcha.
family's here and my wife's family's in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But this has been a good position for me to have, a good job, a good career. I'll have a good retirement when I do
Great, yeah.
decide to retire.
Yeah.
So but the biggest part is every day I feel like I've given back to our veterans in some way.
Mm-hmm. And that's
That's very rewarding.
Yeah, that goes back with the bond. What is it, like idea, or whatever? Like bond with the veterans. You're giving back. Is you think that's the biggest reason why you want to stay? With the VA, because you're giving back to the veterans and to your country or whatever.
Right. And what our service does with our volunteers really wants me to come to work every day, because a lot of our volunteers give up their time. They're not getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
They're doing it out of the goodness of their heart to give back to our veterans, and that's very rewarding.
Because you and the others, other volunteers are not just serving the veterans. You're also serving your country.
Right.
Which is a very rewarding feeling.
Even though I wasn't a veteran, I feel like I'm giving back to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that was my final question. Do you guys have any other questions?
Have you ever heard that if you love your job, you'll never feel like you work a
Work
day in your
life.
life?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
I wake
feeling.
up wanting to come to work,
Yeah.
and that's very important.
Yeah, we're glad for people like you. So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
remember that when you go into your career, that
Mm-hmm.
that's something you want to do.
Yeah, you really are. Thank you. Alrighty, I think that was it
All
for
right.
us. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you again.
We appreciate you.
All right.